Okay, before I get deep into this video, I want to let everybody know that these moon videos, all of them are going to have a survey at the end of them. Pretty much near the end of them, it's going to pop up an icon that you can click on and take the survey. It's very brief. It's not mandatory, however, you're not obligated to do it. However, the survey is going to be on human behavior, all right? So we're adding surveys and things of that nature, research into the channel, into the community. So you can participate in that if you like. I'd appreciate it if you do. Moon and Taurus people are the cool people. They have emotional stability. What happens with that energy is it spreads and pervades to everyone that is around them. For the most part, it's a harmonious energy though. So if you don't tap into it, you might have to do some soul searching of your own. Now, people with Moon and Taurus also like to hoard. That's cool when it comes to, I guess, paintings on the wall. Moon and Taurus people don't like change, and this has conflict as the moon circulates around the zodiac wheel, because the moon circulates so much and deals with fluctuation. Now, do not give up your sense for beauty, your sense for things that are artful. Do not give up your sense of things that are fashionable, things that are possession, because it pertains to your well-being. Now, food. Moon and Taurus people are huge foodies, and it can put on weight. So, who knows though, you might be thin and want to gain weight. So this might behoove you, right? I'm just putting it out there. You also are highly protective of the people that you love. And the only thing that I would say about that you have, or warning that I would give upon that, is that people are not possessions, Moon and Taurus people, okay? So let's go. Okay, Moon and Taurus people inside of the first house, you're not going to like this. How can I parallel? Okay, remember that movie? It's like a war movie. I think it's Saving Private Ryan. The war movie when all of the soldiers are on U-boats and then they pull up on this beach, and then all of the soldiers, the war's already started. Like the bullets are flying at them while they're still in the water. People getting shot while they're in the water. So then the U-boats pull up, they get close enough, they start unlatching the boats, and all of the soldiers roll out, they start swimming, they start walking and running onto the beach, and it's like, take cover, bullets flying everywhere. There's no real plan. So this is the time where you're actually going to have to show your leadership qualities. And this Moon and Taurus people, when the moon is inside of the first house, your first house, this is probably the time that you're going to learn. No, not probably. This is when you're going to learn the most. Okay, Moon and Taurus inside of the second house. You're right at home here. Taurus rules the second house. This pertains to personal finances. You're in love here, right? So look, this is what I want you to do. I want you to reflect on when the moon was inside of the first house and ask yourself, what did you do that people responded to, that you had no idea that people would respond to so strongly? And the response is something that you can gain from. So this is something that you got to take and put in your memory bank, so that next time it comes around and it's time for you to lead off with something, you can implement that same type of behavior. This is also a time when you're going to stop. You went through the war already, right? You got to a post, you took enough people down, and now you're getting on your communicator. You're getting ready to get on your communicator anyway, because the moon is about to go into your third house, right? So what you're doing now is, now you're planning, and now you've experienced the things that you're qualified in to bring you those finances that you want for your material possessions. Okay, Moon and Taurus people inside of the third house. If you're anything like me, right, I don't believe in coincidences, and I'm not telling you not to do so either. However, just keep this in mind when the moon gets inside of your third house. And the reason why I say this is because this is largely based on communication, and people can take advantage of your willingness to help people. When the moon gets in the third house and people approach you in a way that they're trying to get close to you and they're trying to befriend you in ways that may not, your gut may tell you that it's awkward, that it doesn't resonate well with you. Trust that instinct, because what happens is, even if their intent isn't evil or something to do wrong by you, they need time. You need time to assess that interaction in order to determine whether they're good for that placement. Use that discernment that you usually use, when you're dealing with people, when you know you won't do something. Like, you have the ability to say no better than a lot of signs do. When you're communicating with these people, you want to keep your plan that you have in mind when the moon is inside of the second house. Moon and Taurus, when the moon gets inside of your fourth house, you're kind of like at home here, because you love home. The congenial setting is there. You may find yourself staying home at this time. This is where you're attending to household duties, cleaning up, straightening out the paintings on the wall. You gotta pay attention when the moon is inside of the fourth house, because it comes to family members as well. And Moon and Taurus people are like suckers for their family members. And I don't mean that in a mean way. I mean it in the way that I say it. Like, they can pay they can give so much attention to their family members to where it becomes a detriment to them. So the reason why I say pay attention is because your moon just came out of side of the third house, and where you have potential prospects that you just got finished speaking to. And if you parallel them to your family members, which most Moon and Taurus people will not ever do, you'll miss that, some people outside of your actual family are the people who's going to contribute to you obtaining the things that you want and desire in your life. Moon inside of the fifth house for Moon and Taurus people. This is when Moon and Taurus is like, that's how Moon and Taurus people are. And I'm going to tell you why. This could go two ways though, right? You just stepped out of your house from the fourth house, right? So now it's like, okay, you come out and bam, there's like everything going on. There's so much action going on. Everybody wants to have fun. Everybody wants to do this. They want to do that. And you're not necessarily the type to always be out there in the mix like that. Your thing is really being comfortable and harmonious where you just left the fourth house. You will embrace this energy depending on how it is displayed to you or how it is conveyed to you. Like you may see romantic conquest or interest, like trying to get in your pants, men included. It sounds like I'm only talking about women, but men and women included, you may see like your romantic interest trying to get into your pants when this time comes around. And Moon and Taurus people, for the most part, they like to wait at first. Like, they're really not one night stand people. Like, it doesn't matter how much you got in common, how much things are going well, and you're like, oh yeah, this is great. They are not that type. So you also got to be on the lookout for people who want to get you to participate in activities that do not respect your wallet game. And although you like to spend, this may be the time that you spend so with no restraint at all, and it can put you into a hole that you will be mad at yourself for. You may even take it out on the people that got you into the mix the next day. If you must spend when the moon is in the fifth house, or you must go out and have some fun, look to do things that are creative. That's a gamble worth taking. Moon and Taurus people, when the moon is inside of the sixth house, you're not going to like this because of their style, like the Taurus style period of a sun sign of a Taurus. The motion is gradual. These things need to be calm, they need to be calculated, they need to be cool. So the first six signs is like, for the first six houses, Moon and Taurus people are really paying attention before they start really making decisions. So Moon gets inside of the sixth house, we're talking about health and we're talking about work environment. Now, if you've been addressing your creature comforts, you may be looking at yourself in the mirror at these times, like, oh, my stomach's too big, my butt's too big, whatever's going on, I'm bald. Moon and Taurus people get a rap for like being lazy when inside of the work environment. They get other people to do things for them and stuff like that. That's a skill, if you ask me. However, I will say this, that Moon and Taurus people are diligent. They do know how to work and they do like to work hard. However, Moon and Taurus people are going to pay more attention to the friends that are in the workplace than they are to their boss. Like, they may not have a good relationship with their boss inside of the workplace, and if they do, that relationship may be so good that the relationship with the co-workers turns sour. Moon and Taurus people, when the moon gets inside of the seventh house, those co-workers that you befriended when you was in the work environment, call them up, or they're probably going to call you. Why? You're going to start discussing things that are outside of the job, and this is your opportunity chance. So you should be conversing about things based on this and get ready to negotiate and possibly make a deal. Now, also with the significant other, your romantic relationship, this is where you're going to start looking at things more serious. Like, even that person that hit on you when the moon was in the fifth house, you may start paying more attention to them, and you might even, be on the lookout for them to strike again, which they will, because Moon and Taurus people are great looking people. So, this happens and it's more of a serious thing. So they may get to second base this time around. Moon and Taurus people, when the moon gets inside of the eighth house, you will want to get inquisitive, especially with your partner. You may want to ask, well, how was work today? Or what did you do today? Or you may lurk and go on their Facebook pages or wherever their work website is at and see what type of new activity is taking place, because you want to inspect how they are getting money. You want to know the earning potential of your partner or whoever it is that you're trying to do business with. You look at finances and things as in that nature as you do look at sex. It's kind of like the same thing with you. Like, it's like, okay, if they're about, obtaining wealth, then they could probably be about obtaining their sex too. Like, it's a parallel thing. Like, Moon and Taurus people understand how, I'm on a Taurus binge right now, I'm eating mad food. All right, but Moon and Taurus people understand how the economy is parallel to sex or indulgent. It's like their whole scheme. You're not the type to be situated wrongly in the long run. Moon and Taurus people when the moon is in the ninth house. This is a good house for you, Moon and Taurus, because it helps you think. Like, it gives you the time and the space to think as well. Like, you know, that congenial feeling, that, you know, that cozy type feeling that you seek. You're going to be thinking about things on a higher plane. Like, how can you add on to what you already have, to your value, to catapult you into the places that you want to be in order to obtain more of the things that you want. Or if it's just not things, maybe the freedom and the ability to go to places that you would like to go, So, you know, you might think about taking some type of courses when the moon is in the ninth house. Now, moon in the 10th house, you know, prestige. This is when you're going to start thinking about your mother, your father, your family members, and things of that nature. And the reason why I say this is because you're going to start looking at yourself in the matters of how, you know, in the public light, or how everyone sees you, right? On a grandiose scale, on a bigger scale. Like, and don't get me wrong, Moon and Taurus people are not necessarily going to want to choose the fame over their family. It's really the other way around. However, you may become frustrated with your mother or father, or mother and father, because you have recognized that you haven't reached a certain plateau, and it's due to some type of way that they're holding you down in some type of way, or some type of way that they weren't there for you, or some type of way that they're overwhelming and it's actually becoming a hindrance. You will start determining that, okay, some of your friends actually do matter. They, you know, you do really care about them, and you do need to be associated with them more than you usually are. Like, it's not only a family thing here. You are the epitome of having the type of lifestyle that people dream about. Like, if people value mansions, like, you're supposed to be showing them how to walk around a mansion. If people value great art, you're supposed to be the one who walks them around a gallery and shows them what great art is. Now, Moon and Taurus people when the moon is in the 11th house. Now, I said things get better as the wheel goes around, as the moon goes around the wheel, right? And I meant it. This is where you become the leader. This is where you're like the leader. This is where you're like the sage of everything, because more than likely people are going to be coming to you. Your networks are going to be coming to you, and don't be alarmed when people come to you to actually hear a no. This is what I mean. Moon and Taurus people, you're going to be relied upon to say no. I'm not saying to make it a habit purposely to like piss people off and be like, oh no, Moon and Taurus people are supposed to say no. No, what I mean is stick to your guns the way your soul always tells you to. That part of you that does not want to change, this is where you implement those qualities. Real change comes in longer spurts than they do in shorter ones. So when people are, you know, things change rapidly and people are making changes every day, right? However, for the real transitional change to take place, as you know, the transitional planets take longer to move than the personal planets do. It takes people who are gradual when making decisions. It takes people who will be tough and stick to their guns when everyone else is like forfeiting or giving in. That one person is saying, no, I won't. This is where you are the rock that you desire to be from day one. Moon and Taurus people, when the moon is in the 12th house, you're kind of at home here. The reason why I say kind of like that is because it can be some deception going on here with you, because you're so practical, right? You're so, you know, you're touchy. It's tangible, you understand it, and that's when it's concrete, right? So there could be some type of mystical energy going on here that you may second guess sometimes. However, this is the time when you get to self-reflect and think about self-renewal, or it will become self-undoing. And the way that you're able to do that in an effective way, and the reason why I say you're kind of at home is because it doesn't take the space of everybody else being involved with it. This is your time to sit alone and figure this out for yourself. So then now that you already had this plan and it went around the moon went around the circle as it's supposed to, and now it comes to the end. And the Moon and Taurus person is the follow-through person. They're like the last person in the relay race that you pass the baton to, and they get to run it in. They get to cross the tape, right? So this is a challenging place for you. It's an exciting place for you, and this is where you want to be the champion. This is where you want to do it. Well, really, this is where you have to.
Drink, it's paid for and legal. No, I don't drink. Don't smoke out pass. So the back of your hand, so for you bad. Soap skin as you cold crab. Got the white of the coast of Trinidad. Got the black too if you want that proof. Got cameras if you wanna act shoot. No sedative, cause that head you give in your BFF when you said she lived. 2 buns of fun, 4 small for show. I don't have to start, I can watch the show. It's kind of militant when I lock and load. Although the missile might kiss your toe before I get